Tonight on Patriots This Week, primed for a primetime performance. Frustrated by slow starts, the Patriots need just one quarter to run away from the Giants.
35-40, to the 30, Marcus Jones gone to the 20, to the 10, to the house. Touchdown, Patriots!
Then pound the Big Blue into submission.
On the near side, gets out of bounds, takes a big hit by Christian Ellis.
We play hard on defense. We try to bring life to this team.
We focused on being aggressive and attacking and keeping that mindset, and I think we did.
The Patriots say hello to the bye with the best record in football, knowing their coach would not let them sleepwalk against the Giants.
See, coach saying no nap.
This is Patriots This Week.
First to 11, Patriots win a 10th in a row. They head to the bye with an 11-2 record. They sent a message right from the outset to the New York Football Giants on Monday night. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Patriots This Week. I'm Bob Socci, along with my radio partner from 98.5, the Sports Hub, Scott Zolak, and Brian Hoyer, both former quarterbacks for the Patriots. And we saw the usual from Drake May on Monday night, national showcase for him. But we saw something consistent throughout. The defense has shown physicality thus far this year in spurts, usually not at the beginning of games. They maintained it right from the outset.
Nothing like we saw the other night. Because you and I, we call the game from a very good vantage point. You can hear the cracks up there. Gets me out of my seat, gets me excited. But you mentioned we're two former quarterbacks. That quarterback and this quarterback would never stay in bounds the way Jackson Dart did to take that hit from Christian Ellis, which was a completely legal hit. Perfect hit.
We should look at it from the flip side with our young quarterback who, let's just put it the way it was. Like, it took him a while to learn to make sure he gets down, make sure he gets out of bounds. And look, you get hit enough as it is as a quarterback in this league by large men, okay?
Yeah.
And if you go and you're taking those shots, and look, being there live and in person, Jackson Dart he's thick. And the lick that Ellis put on him and sent him helicoptering 6 yards on the sideline, part of the reason Daboll got fired is they're like, he's putting Jackson Dart in harm's way. Look, Daboll hasn't been around for a few weeks. This is his first game back from a concussion, and he just goes and lets himself get absolutely destroyed on his own sideline.
Well, I think there was a collective apprehension about New England going into that game in a lot of ways because of the Patriots' injury situation.
Yeah.
The Giants had the ability to score points. They've proven that. They've taken big leads on people, unable to sustain them. And because of Jackson Dart's potential and athleticism, we saw a good dose of it during the preseason game between the teams.
The one thing that I saw from the onset of this game, and we going back to after the Cincinnati game, they did not seem happy with the way they won that game. And it was almost like, we need to get out here and be aggressive. And Vrabel said it in the post game. You guys chose to be aggressive. It showed up from the get-go. You get the big hit. You get Marcus Jones at the punt return. They were aggressive all night, and I think that was so awesome to see.
You get one more hit by Christian Ellis on the kick return. Gunnar Olszewski knocks him out of the game, gets the fumble. That's what we've been hearing about Mike Vrabel, what kind of culture and defensive mind he wanted to set here. It was violence, fast, active, athletic. That's what I was waiting to see all year. We saw it week 13.
Let's talk about the Patriots offense, too, because we went into that game worried about the Giants' pass rush.
Yep.
Brian Burns certainly on the edge, although Carter was benched, a talented guy, first-round pick for the Giants. And yet Vidarian Lowe, Ben Brown more than held their own. But was it just their blocking and the performance of the offensive line, or was the function and design of the offense too?
Part of the design and function of the offense, you got to decide where do we run the ball. I think early in that game it said, let's get these guys involved early. Let's get the run going their way. That's where you got Ramondre. I thought Ramondre came out. He ran with purpose, fresh legs, ran to contact. Henderson later in the game busted to the right, makes 3 cuts. He has a big one. Josh did some good things too, protecting those guys, slotting that way.
His feeling of the pocket is so good. It's just the amount of work that he's put in. You talk about Josh, Ashton Grant, Riley Larkin, the guys that are working with him every day on those fundamentals. They've done such a tremendous job with him, and then they see the execution on the field. It's been tremendous.
Got to talk about the 2 touchdown passes. Kayshon Boutte back in the act for the Pats, and another long ball to Kyle Williams.
That was the thing of beauty.
I thought Williams was phenomenal. From our vantage point, I thought it was out of bounds. He doesn't have a lot of production, but boy, when he touches the football, they're touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, he's explosive, and I think the one thing that I loved about that play you saw, and this is what we talked about going into this game, new defensive coordinator, you got to have your head in the swivel. He presented a few blitz looks that maybe they hadn't seen. You see Drake calm the guys down easy, change the protection, and on that particular play, and because I was there and you hear him, I'm hearing him call a blitz zero beater. Well, what do? They all drop out. That leaves me to the one-on-one to Kyle Williams, and Vrabel got asked this today. Like, he doesn't throw it to Kyle a lot, so how do you expect him to be, in 100% in phase with him? He goes, it's not going to be. But Drake his job is to
What's that tell you though? Like, it's not Diggs, it's not Hunter. I'm sticking on. Kyle's in the game. I like the look. I'm going.
It's not overthinking it. Tom Brady would always say sometimes you have some mental scars of things that maybe prevent you from just playing the game. I think Drake, in its purest form, is playing football the way that Josh is designing the play, and he's like, hey, if the read tells me to go here, I don't care who it is. I'm throwing the football there, and that's why it's been so great.
I think Diggs does a good job not chirping him. Like, I love when Diggs talks because I think he's taking on that leadership role. But if he's in there chirping, hey man, I'm open, that wears and all of a sudden forces the quarterback to look places he really doesn't have to look. Like, let him just be him, let him breathe. And the fact Diggs is content getting one catch a game, that's great for the team. It's good for the team perspective.
Yeah, I think Diggs' role varies from week to week, and I think he understands why. Like, Drake trusts him, and going back to his leadership skills, we had John Gruden on our podcast, and he said one of the best ways he likes to evaluate college quarterbacks, he goes back and watches their post-game press conferences after a loss. And he goes, I've never seen anybody handle it better than Drake May. And we saw it last year. This was not an easy situation for him. Look, he's the odds-on favorite to win the MVP right now. The game against the Giants is one of his best games of the year.
Well, Drake May very well be the league MVP by the end of the season. If there's a runner-up for team MVP, it might be Marcus Jones. 94 yards, another punt return touchdown for him, second this season, third score of his career on a punt return. He's now the all-time leader in punt return average in NFL history.
I'm just glad they signed him. You got the guy, you developed him. You know he's good. You know he's got speed. Keep him. Make him want to be here. Then you're going to start attracting other free agents. So the more and more of these veterans make plays, like Spillane, Ellis, Diggs, just keep going. Wait till we get Milt back. They're going to tell other guys in the league, hey, come play here, man. We love it here. This culture's great, and we win.
I think the thing I love about Marcus, and I had the ability, I played with him early in his career, and look who he was behind Jonathan Jones, who was a great nickel defender, and he was always explosive in the return game, but to see his growth just being kind of a special teamer to now, 2 weeks ago, INT for a touchdown against the Bengals, he's become a core defender, and then you put him back there and you're like, he's going to score at any given moment, and still, there's still time. Could we see him on offense at some point, as, we saw him a few years ago. I don't think that Josh might not have a little package for him. And so I would say all of those things, how great he is on the field, but what he does in the locker room and off the field as well. They have a great group of people that are not just executing on the field, but they're building a culture of good people in the locker room who, to your point, Zoe, hey, they know someone? You want to come play here. They take care of us here. Vrabel's a great coach. So it's really kind of all falling in place.
Pats with a big win, 33-15 over the Giants. Back with more right after this.
Patriots This Week is brought to you by Cross Insurance, official insurance broker of the New England Patriots. By DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots. And by Sports Illustrated Tickets, 50 million sports, concerts, and theater tickets. 0 fees. Fans deserve better. Visit SITickets.com today.
The Cross Insurance Player of the Week is Harold Landry. The 6'2", 252-pound edge rusher is in his 8th year in the NFL and has played every season under Mike Vrabel. Landry was drafted by Tennessee in the 2nd round of the 2018 draft. The Boston College graduate signed as a free agent with the Patriots last spring. The 29-year-old was voted a team captain and leads the Patriots with 7.5 sacks. Player of the Week is brought to you by Cross Insurance, the official insurance broker of the New England Patriots.
Just try to have a good relationship or a relationship with the players and figure out what they need and be honest, be direct, be authentic, I think is the biggest thing, trying to be as authentic as possible, try to give them the information that they'll need or things that they'll need to help them have individual success.
And we bring you back into the Bob's Discount Furniture Studio with the words of head coach Mike Vrabel, responding to the statement by Stephon Diggs about Vrabel's leadership and a guy as a former player, what he's like to play for as the head coach of the Patriots. And while Drake May had another MVP-boosting performance for the Pats as the quarterback, the head coach didn't hurt himself for those considering Coach of the Year honors.
I think the best thing about Mike is he's honest. He tells the press what he's thinking. He tells, more importantly, his players what he's thinking. And that's where you get a guy like Diggs there that looks, hey, I can't complain here. He tells me everything where I stand. He's honest with me, and we have no problem. He's open. We enjoy being together and working together.
I got to know Vrabes when we were in Houston together, and you saw the competitive edge. You saw, when he was the head coach in Tennessee. And I think, like a lot of guys who go through that process, you learn a lot about yourself that first go around as a head coach. And to be here in New England where he won those championships, where he established himself as this great player, I think, one, he demands immediate respect. And those guys have given it to him from the moment they walked in the building. And now, not only do they give him the respect, but they have the love for one another, and they're playing with the attitude that he played with. And it just trickles down, and it's so fun to watch. When I saw what they did with him in Tennessee after they beat his former team, and Drake's presenting him the game ball, and they're shoving him, and he's shoving him right back. And in a weird way, I think Diggs' comment was like, he's the perfect parent. Like, being a father, like, you kind of rile up your kids a little bit, right? And they give it back, and you're teaching them how to interact in the world. And I think Vrabel's experience as a player, you can't question it, right? You respect it, but then he shows you the way, and now they're like, yeah, this works.
No coincidence, he's the father of 2 early 20s.
Yeah, that's
sons.
true.
So he's gone through that experience. He's been very honest, too, about the experience as a parent.
Yep.
Things that, we all learn as parents.
Yeah, and I think the Drake thing is the one that gets him, because he knows Drake's 23. He said, wait a minute, Tyler, my youngest is 23. Yeah.
Right.
He's like, am I getting that older? It's just, then you realize that's where I am in a relationship with the player. So, hey, he came here for this guy. I like what he said on set after the Amazon game. I came here to be with Drake. And that matchup of good head coach, good quarterback takes you a long way in this league, guys. You know that.
When I think in a weird way early on, he was not quick to praise Drake, right? He held him to a very high standard. And I think what's great about it, similar to what the old coach and quarterback combination, the quarterback embraces it.
And I think he speaks to and for all the players, not just the star young quarterback. And an example would be in the post-game remarks, asked about the defensive line. Yep. He makes it a point to say, the Giants didn't think Corey Durden was good enough to play for them, but we thought he was good enough to play for the Patriots. He was very excited, very happy for him. That sends a message to all those guys from 1 through 53.
What's that just going to motivate Durden to get back out there, come in, lift weights, get a sweat, because Coach likes me, and I'm going to get more plays for him.
I remember this going back to Vrabel's press conference. He's like, I can relate to every single player in that room. I've been the guy who had to grind to get there. I've been the star player. I've been the old veteran. You don't think that he felt like, oh man, the Patriots didn't think I was good enough anymore. They shipped me off to Kansas City. He knows how to motivate those guys. He's been in their shoes. It's truly unique.
All right, we'll keep doing this right after we take a timeout.
It's time now for your Zoe Show. Now, we're in the bye week, so our producer, Don Maxon, does a great job, says, Zoe, what's one of your favorite Drake May throws to Keyshawn Boutte? And I said, oh my gosh, it's the off-platform throw. And you say, why do I pick this one? Because it's the accuracy that Drake throws. When I say off-platform, it's other foot's coming forward, sidearm, maybe 3/4. So let's take a look at it. I go right to the Saints game. First touchdown, now freeze it right here, the Keyshawn Boutte has. Keyshawn Boutte's here, you're gonna get a bump. And what you're going to see is start to get this blitz coming down this way. This is what Drake's looking at. So go ahead and progress it. Little motion, return here. Here comes the blitz. Drake sees it, steps up, freeze it. Okay, right now, where do you think he's going to throw this ball to Boutte? So it's here. You think, oh, he's going to fade him to all this room back here. Not so the case. You know what he's going to do? He's going to throw it here to where he puts it in a spot where only his guy can get it. Go ahead and fast forward that. Look at his throw. I mean, you don't teach it that way. Josh McDaniels doesn't teach it that way. Here you're going to see it again. Watch the blitz come. Now here he comes. Watch up there. Freeze it right there. Look at this. Look at the positioning the corner has on Boutte. Go ahead and fast forward it. There's the catch. Spot on. Touchdown. We're going to see a lot more of those from Drake May, not only this year, but hopefully for the next 20. There's your Zoe Show.
Welcome back to the Bob's Discount Furniture Studio. We continue in this bye-week edition of Patriots This Week. Patriots again at 11-2, first to 11 wins in the NFL, riding a 10-game winning streak. How do they keep it going?
I'll sit there and I'll watch them on defense. They play a ton of zone. What you're going to have to really be ready for is to flip that, and you're going to have to go man against some good quarterbacks in the playoffs. Because you get a good veteran quarterback out there, he sees zone. That's just, I got to set my feet, get in the holes, pick it up. Offensively, they stall a little bit down inside the 10. This past game, there's 3 minutes, 7 seconds left. Second and third down, you're throwing it down there. I mean, you have the opportunity to run it in there. I'm not that worried about the running game because I do think that they have the guys to do it. Defensively, stopping the run. Like, you're kind of learning why Milton Williams is so important to this team and how good he was through those first 10 games. We got to get him back.
Especially with Buffalo coming up after the bye.
They ran the ball up and down on a Steelers defense, and so I think defensively it starts with stopping the run. Now you start to look at who are some of the teams they could potentially play in the playoffs, and always I think stopping the run is one of the things they can improve. That goes with the health of the team, getting Milton Williams back, being solid up the middle. And then offensively, I think the running game has been what it is. I think there's games where, we go to Tampa and they break out for these long runs, and as long as you're running the ball enough where you're not having to drop back and throw it 40 times, then I think you're heading in the right direction. And I would say this, having been around Josh, especially having a bye week this late, there's no one better at sitting there and doing a self-scout and saying, what do we do really well? Where do we need to improve? And how do we make those improvements? And I would say this, one of the things that Josh knows from having coached under Bill, and he would say this, if you get to these meaningful games in January, if you can add a little wrinkle or two and be really good at it, if you can add, maybe we wait until the playoffs and we have a little bit more of a Drake May running package, or there's something that no one hasn't seen yet and we feel confident about doing it, that's that little edge that can get you over those close games.
How about coming off a bye as a player? Because you just referenced self-scouting, and coaches will do that while the Patriots players get away from the facility. What's it like when you come back? If you're a player, where do you want the bye week? Well, you'd always say smack dab in the middle of the season. Now with the way they've played, this is almost like ideal. The one thing that you don't want to lose is the momentum. I mean, I don't think people realize how hard it is to win 10 games in a row in the NFL, and sometimes you get away from it, which is great because your body gets to rest, but you're in that rhythm, right? But I think what we've seen from this team, they're very mature. The coaching staff knows how to handle it. The opponent they're playing when they come back, this is the game of the year. I mean,
listen to the Jets. You come back from the Jets at 1, I'm worried.
Yeah, you're coming to play the Buffalo Bills, who you're trying to knock them off, right? They've kind of taken the East. They've taken the place of the Patriots. You've already beaten them at home. They're going to come back rearing to go, and I think you hit it on the head, Zoe. Like, you want to come out and with your hair on fire the way they did the other night against the Giants.
All right, we'll conclude this edition of the Patriots This Week right after this.
Patriots This Week is brought to you by Cross Insurance, official insurance broker of the New England Patriots. By DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots. And by Sports Illustrated Tickets, 50 million sports, concerts, and theater tickets. 0 fees. Fans deserve better. Visit sitickets.com today.
Zay Flowers has had a solid season in spite of Lamar Jackson being in and out of the lineup, and the Ravens receiver is coming off his worst performance of the year on Thanksgiving. Start the BC grad and look for a big bounce back when Baltimore heads to Pittsburgh. But sit Woody Marks. Houston's rookie running back has averaged 60 yards per game in the last 3 weeks. But there won't be much running room in KC when the Texans and Chiefs battle for a playoff spot. This week's sleeper is Chris Rodriguez. The Commanders' running back is coming off a solid fantasy performance against Denver. Rodriguez should duplicate that when Washington plays a reeling Vikings defense in Minnesota. This week's fantasy picks are brought to you by Verizon.
So we're back in this Week 14 bye-week edition of Patriots This Week. The Pats are 11-2. They have 4 games left, 2 of them on the road, 2 at home, Buffalo and Miami at Gillette, sandwiched around Baltimore and the Jets on the road. Scott Zolak, Brian Hoyer, those teams collectively 22-26. What will the Patriots be by the end of those 4 games?
2 weeks before the Tampa game, I was on my radio show and I said, I honestly don't know when they're going to lose again. Everybody said, it's going to be Tampa. It's going to be Tampa. If you beat Buffalo, they're going to win out. That's what I feel. It might not be pretty, but if they beat Buffalo, they went out and end up 15-2, and I can't even believe I'm saying it.
I'm all in 4-0 over the last 4 weeks.
Let's do it.
I've seen enough, as I mentioned this. It was kind of the perfect weekend to watch everybody else and then be here live and in person and watch the way that this team came out, hear the energy in the, like you said, you hear the pop of the way they're hitting guys. You see the execution of Drake May.
Well, you guys are going to watch more of other teams this weekend, so enjoy the weekend off from the Pats.
Cincy.
See you back here in the Bob's Discount Furniture Studio for Patriots This Week as the Patriots get ready to take on the Buffalo Bills a week from Sunday. So long, everybody.